My first time with a prostitute. It was back in 2012. I had been single at that point for around 2 years, and the last relationship that I had it ended pretty badly. She cheated on me, she lied to me, and I kept going back just because I thought maybe things would change. I don't know, it was first love kind of shit, so who knows why you do the things you do. Anyway, at that point, I remember the date was significant because it was supposed to be, or it would have been, our 6 year anniversary together. So it was a 4 year long relationship with its ups and downs, but I digress. So on this day, I was feeling particularly low. I hadn't had sex with anyone in 2 years. I had messed around with girls, but it never really fully went into sex. And I'll get to those stories when they come up on later videos. So on this specific day, I had already made up my mind. I was going to go see a prostitute. Now, I live around New York City, so it's fairly easy to, I guess, find one, you could say. If you do your research, if you really want to find one, you will. So I did my research, picked out the location, picked which girl that I wanted on the website. And with that in mind, I went into the city. And before that, I actually went to a meetup group. And like anything else, I was just going to the meetup group to get some girls. It was a shitty book club for a shitty book, and it didn't work out. So after that, I was kind of nervous, kind of on the fence about whether I should still go or not, but I eventually decided to go along with it. And so with a pounding heart, I dialed the number for the first time of a massage parlor, brothel, whatever you want to call it. And a girl picks up with a hushed voice. Now she's speaking very low and very fast. So me being the shy, timid guy that I was and still am in many ways, I didn't really, push for what I wanted. So she asked, what time do you want to come in? And I gave her a time. She said, all right, gave me the address, and I started to walk there. So they have like a different system. When you go outside the establishment, you give them another call. Now this establishment, like many buildings in New York City, was old. But the weird part about this building was that it was very, very low. It was a very short building, not tall at all. Only 2 floors in the middle of the city, so it's pretty weird. And it looked run down, it looked like abandoned, but I checked the location, it was the correct address, so I went ahead with it. I called them, they said, go up the elevator and go to the right. As I go in, it's probably the worst elevator I've ever been to in my life to this day. Extremely small, extremely slow, and just a nightmare for anybody that even has a little bit of claustrophobia. So I'm in the elevator for about, 12 minutes for it to get from the first floor to the second floor. It finally opens up, and there are 2 doors in the hallway right in front of each other. On the left, there's like a yoga or some type of studio, and there's a full, like a glass door so you could see directly into it. And on the other side is the massage parlor, all, of course, blocked out. You can't see anything into it. Now, it's very awkward because I'm there ringing the doorbell for the massage parlor, and I guess they know what's going on, or they probably have some idea. And so I'm looking into the gym or whatever the hell it was, and I see like people doing yoga and stuff, and here I am just waiting for the door to open. So as the door opens, I guess it was the girl from the phone, because she greeted me, and she led me to a door, to like a room. Now this place, as soon as she opened it up, was already very low lighting, very dim. And I could see that the hallway was pretty long, so there were several rooms. And it wasn't the girl that I had seen online. And although I had already made up my mind of who I wanted to see, I wasn't going to say anything to this woman about, hey, I want to go see somebody else or something like that. So I just went with it. She said if she was okay. I said yes. I remember we made some small talk. She told me I looked very young, asked to see my ID. I showed her, whatever. And, we got to talking. She asked me, okay, so is this your first time in a place like this? And I'm sure, a lot of people lie, but, it's a first time for everybody. And for me, it was. And I said, yes, it is. So she said, okay, so I just want you to take off your clothes, put on this robe and slippers, and I'll come back. So by this time, I'm already in the room. The room is very, again, dimly lit, just a massage table with a drawer or something next to it, like a little stand for whatever to be on, tissues, whatever. And so I'm there, I'm nervous. I can't believe that I'm here. I'm really going to go through with it. And I'm still not even sure if this is the kind of place that I think it is. So I gave her the money for the massage and I get undressed and put on the robe. So when I mean undressed, I mean nothing on. After that, 5-10 minutes later, she knocks on the door, checks, are you ready? I say yes. And then she leads me, she holds my hand again, like she did in the beginning. She leads me to the bath area, the bathing area, the showering area. And it's just a room, all tiles with a shower head and another table with plastic on top of it. So she's there, she's checking for the temperature, making sure the water's not too hot, etc. She cleans off the table, she cleans her hands. And at this point, I'm actually starting to get a real good look at her. So she looks like she's, in her mid-20s, maybe early 30s. She's wearing a really short red dress and high heels. And she has long hair, brown long hair, a little bit wavy, and her skin is a little bit tan. I would guess, she's has a pretty face. At this point, I can't really tell what her tits are like, but they seem nice, her ass as well. So she starts asking me questions, what I do, what my name is, etc., while she's getting the shower ready. So as I'm doing that, I'm checking her out, I'm getting excited, but at the same time, I'm still not sure if this is the actual place that I think it is. I have no experience doing this, and I'm still a nervous wreck. So she tells me, okay, table's ready, water's ready, take off the robe, take off the slippers. I proceed to do that, and then I lay on my stomach on the table, and she starts washing me. Still, the small talk, etc., whatever the hell we talked about. I learned that she's from Hong Kong, or at least that's what she tells me. Her name's Selena. She's been in the States for a little bit. She likes it. Her English is all right. It's not great, but it's all right. And as she's doing that, I'm just going crazy in my mind because I'm getting, I've had showers with girlfriends in the past, whatever, but this was different. This was completely catering to me. They were catering to me in a way that I haven't had before. Taking off my robe, making sure the water's good, etc., etc. So it was nice. And she's cleaning me thoroughly. Armpits, asshole, feet, everything that she can reach. Then comes the flip. So at this time, I don't know, I think she could tell it was my first time because as soon as I flipped, my dick was hard as fuck. So just completely hard and just excited that another human being was touching me. So I would also have to mention that while I was on my stomach, she was washing my balls as well. I mean, obviously she can't wash my dick from that angle, but she was washing my balls as well, playing with them a little bit. So I was getting a little bit more confidence that this was actually the place that I thought it was. So I flip, she looks at my hard ass dick, she's, giggles a little bit, and she continues to wash me, continues to ask me questions, etc., etc. So then after the shower is done, she tells me to get up and she starts drying me off. So she dries me off, everywhere. And she bends the knee so she could dry off my dick. So her face is like inches from my dick, which again also makes me crazy. So I put the robe back on to go back to the room. So I put the robe back on. She leads me to the room. I get in there, and she tells me to lie face down. Asks me what kind of massage I want. I let her know. The massages in this place are really just kind of like rub downs, and they are what they are. So while she's doing the massage, she keeps asking me questions. We're talking, very, very light conversation. And then she goes and she lowers the light a little bit more. And she starts scratching my whole body just with the tips of her nails, just scratching my entire body. And I don't know, I guess they must know that it feels good because, well, so many providers have done the same thing to me. And it does, it's nice. So she starts doing that. She starts playing with my balls a little bit. And then she tells me to flip. And so I'm lying on my back. And at that point, she says, okay, what do you want? And I had originally gone in with the intention of getting a hand job because I'm terrified of diseases, super paranoid about everything. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna, have sex or anything like that. Only hand job because I felt like, that's safe. I'm not gonna get anything from that. And at that point, that went out the window because as soon as she asked me what I wanted, she took off. She lowered her dress enough for her tits to pop out, which were like C's, I guess. They were a little bit droopy, but they were, after you haven't seen tits for 2 years, you have, anyway, they were great. So I just